Hello and welcome to DVC's special program, Meet the Envoy. I'm Antara Rai Chaudhary with you. Ceylon to Sri Lanka, also known as the heart of Indian Ocean, consisting of diverse culture and tradition, where festivals take place all throughout the year. The 22 million island nation, whose GDP growth was remarkable in South Asian countries, had recently faced some economic crisis. Yet the country hopes to get back to its glory and it's reviving. The political leaders and the new leadership are constantly working to reform and restore the country's glory. Viewers, today we will have an exclusive interview and we are honored to have His Excellency Mr. Ali Sabry, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Republic of Sri Lanka, with us today in our DVC studio. Mr. Ali Sabry, welcome to DVC studio.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, pleased to be here.
To begin with, the diplomatic relationship between Bangladesh and Sri Lanka got established in 1972. And most Sri Lanka's head of state and government officials visited Bangladesh multiple times. What do you see and how do you see this strong relationship in 2022?
Yeah, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh have had traditionally very, very good relationship. We were one of the first to recognize Bangladesh, and we have been there with each other in thick and thin, and we are very grateful that Bangladesh had been with us in international and multilateral fora, even in the UN Human Rights Commission, supporting our cause and understanding us. So we only see it get better and better years to come. Sri Lankans have set up here, Sri Lankans have invested here, Bangladeshis are visiting in Sri Lanka. So we see a lot of potential in different areas, in trade, people-to-people contact, and connectivity in terms of shipping and air connectivity. So there are a lot of potential. I see the relationship becoming stronger.
This time your visit as a foreign minister to Bangladesh was to attend the 22nd meeting of Council of Ministers, COM and IORA. Yeah. So would you like to enlighten us about the salient aspects from these meetings?
Yeah, it was very interesting and very important meeting. IORA is Indian Ocean Rim Association, where the countries surrounding and who could exploit sustainably the Indian Ocean for the growth. And Bangladesh has provided great leadership. Last 2 years they have been the leaders, and they have that it is under their chairmanship that things have moved in. And so during the last couple of days, there was ministerial level and the official level discussions on that. And for the first time, we have introduced a business council so that people-to-people business among these 23 countries take place. And there are 10 observer status, such as UK, United States, China. So this is a growing power, and hopefully countries like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, India taking over and giving leadership, we will see this as a very powerful bloc in the years to come.
Great. So far we know that you have already met our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. So would you like to tell us a bit more about the conversation?
Yes, of course. I met Her Excellency in the morning at her residence. We had a long conversation. It was always about exchanging the pleasantries at the beginning and then sharing thoughts about our country and your beautiful country. And it was very inspiring for us to meet a leader like her. She was hands-on, good knowledge. She knows what her people need: education, food security, health, and the general security, and exports. I was very impressed. I've always been impressed by the great growth your country has seen and uplifting people out of poverty. So it was a good conversation. I was happy that we could exchange frank views on many matters.
So beginning on to that, Your Excellency, the trade relationship for Bangladesh and Sri Lanka has been for years. So how is the situation now for the import and exports between the countries?
Yeah, we generally do about 300 to 400 million both ways, but that's not doing justice for the potential that we have. So we hope to see that more investment take place in both countries. Sri Lankans have come and invested here heavily. I think they are the third biggest investors in your country. $2.5 billion US worth of investment had been made in this country. So Sri Lankans are happy and they are growing, and they are in the process, they are imparting knowledge to your economy. And I'm happy that the Bangladesh nationals, whom I have spoken, speak very high of the Sri Lankans, particularly the banks and the other organizations that Sri Lankans are having. Bangladeshis have just started to invest in Sri Lanka. Just in less than 10 million US dollars or something. But going forward, I think there is a lot of potential in both ways for our people to come here and the Bangladeshi nationals to come there and take this relationship to a next level.
Great. Obviously, we're also the developing country, and emerging countries will look forward to Sri Lanka for that. Sri Lanka has got 95% literacy rate, which is phenomenal. So Sri Lankan students currently are over 500 are currently working in Bangladesh and getting education from Bangladesh and private sectors from Bangladesh. So how do you see this bond in the countries, between the countries? And once again, after the crisis, what are the reformation that you guys are doing in order to work on the education sector?
Yeah. We have had universal free education for a long period of time, from grade 1 to university in Sri Lanka. Of course, it's very competitive. So once you miss the universities there, then you have to look for other countries. So that's how some of them have come to Bangladesh, and they have come well, and some of them, particularly the medical students, are doing very well in Sri Lanka. So we have had a long-standing partnership on that. And some of the Bangladeshi students are also studying in Sri Lanka in some of our state medical colleges and things like that. So it has been a good thing, but there is a lot of potential again. Sri Lanka is also now in the process of opening up education to the outside and inviting people to come there with our good educational infrastructure there. So when it comes to economy, because of the situation what we have, two things we have not touched. We are very proud of our free education and free healthcare. So whatever the reforms take place, we want to keep that as it is. But only thing what we would like to do is to create more private sector universities, private sector tertiary education and skill training institutions, vocational training institutions. So more people can learn and acquire vocational training and skill training so that they could be better employed in other countries.
Viewers, we have His Excellency Foreign Minister Ali Sabry, Republic of Sri Lanka, with us today. We will go back to the conversation. Excellency, you have been playing many roles in Sri Lankan government. Being the former finance minister months ago, what do you think was the reason behind the Sri Lankan crisis?
Several reasons. I think put it in broad term, it is actually bad debt, bad luck, and bad policies, a combination of all. Bad debt in the sense we have borrowed a lot of money, but whether we have put it into proper use which will give you return is a question what a lot of people are asking now. Bad luck in the sense we had the Easter Sunday bombing in 2018 which affected our tourism, and then came the COVID. COVID kind of wiped out our tourism industry which we are very dependent on. And thirdly, when we were about to get out of it, it came the Ukrainian crisis with escalating prices of petroleum. Everybody is affected. Coal, grain, and fertilizer. Bad policies in the sense we would have been more prudent in our fiscal management. And we could have and should have gone, like what you all have done, quickly learning from Sri Lanka, to the IMF long before now. So we waited too long for the IMF. So there were a combination of bad luck, bad policies, and bad debt.
So after being the finance minister, what were the immediate measures you took to serve the people at that time? And how did you manage the major issues like foreign reserve, food shortage, high fuel and commodity prices?
Yeah, we did very important, urgent kind of emergency steps. First of all, what I did was we officially approached IMF, discussed with the IMF. So then confidence came back. Based on that, we spoke to institutions like World Bank, ADB, AIIB, and repurposed their investment in Sri Lanka for social support to protect the people who are really needing the money. That's a social protection norm. Then we suspended the debt because we did not have money to pay the debt. First of all, we must look after the people and back the country back on track, suspend the debt, and then we got hired to world-class legal and financial consultants to negotiate our debt. So that's how we were able to manage the IMF, and then we repurposed that month in order to import what is most critically needed for our economy, like fuel. That now we have got out of the fuel crisis, we have got out of the gas queues, we have got out of all essential service queues. Now country is slowly back on track, which has helped tourists to come back and industries to flourish and investments to come. So I think we are in the right path.
That's great to know. So as we know that the world is going towards the global recession, and at this phase, how do you think the Russian-Ukraine war is having an effect in the reviving stage of Sri Lanka?
Sri Lanka is disproportionately affected by this on different fronts. As I told earlier, the coal prices, 35% of our electricity is from coal generation. The grain prices, we know we are all basically the bread-based products. Thirdly, we are all affected by escalating prices on coal, petroleum and things like that. Apart from that, Ukrainians and the Russians were among the first 10 countries which sent us most number of tourists to the country. That got affected. And of course our exports like tea, spices, cinnamon and all those things have got affected. So we are disproportionately affected by this contact. Therefore we feel and we hope that through negotiations and diplomacy and dialogue, this conflict must come to an end sooner than later, because otherwise everybody is suffering. I could see that if you don't put an end to this, if the war doesn't come to an end, there could be a recession. And if it recession, it will pass down to rest of us, like developing countries like Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. So therefore, it's important that world get together and see an end to this conflict.
Are you working on the reforms of your organic farming that was taken, and now what is the stage at this moment? Because you were also the largest producer of wheat and rice.
Yeah, so. Basically wheat and rice, the rice, as far as we were concerned, we were self-sufficient. But there was a policy decision which we took about 2 years ago to kind of suspend chemical fertilizer and to go for organic fully, but that was not fully thought out. So therefore, we have now for the time being suspended that policy, and now there are a group of people who are doing organic cultivation, but we have brought back the chemical fertilizer because of the rising prices in other areas, as well as food security is important for our country and particularly to the most vulnerable people. So therefore, right now we are back on track. I think as far as rice is concerned, we'll be self-sufficient this season and the next.
So would you like to enlighten us more about the bilateral relationships with your neighboring countries, and how are they helping Sri Lanka to revive?
Yes, as far as our biggest neighbor and like yours is India, we have had good relationship with India, and they helped us with an extended credit line for us for up to about 3.8 billion, so that we can pay later. And then countries like Bangladesh had continued to work with us, and they provided a very important 200 million worth of a credit line, which we need to repay next year. It came at a very crucial time for us, very thankful to the nation. And as well as we continue to grow as far as our economic integration is concerned. About more than 50% of your garment trade goes to the west through the Colombo port. So we are trying to work, strengthen that also. So therefore, I would say that all the neighbors have supported us, particularly India and Bangladesh.
So as being one of the South Asian countries, we do have some similarities with Bangladesh. Would you like to share your views on that, as you have seen that we have prehistoric bonds? So we would like to hear from you.
Of course, Bangladesh is a very important country for us, and we are part of the Southeast Asia. South Asia has great potential with more than 25% of the world, and humanity lives here. We hope that one day whole South Asia could be integrated just like a European Union or ASEAN Council or North America, so everybody benefits out of it. I think the most moderate countries are most friendly countries in the South Asia, East Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. So we have a great role to play together. I think generally our policy is the same. We are dynamically neutral. We want a kind of friends for all, an enemy on none, and we want to pursue that. And as countries pursuing that dynamic neutrality foreign policy, where we only see good in the people, I think this is time for us to work together, and we see a lot of potential working with Bangladesh, and we have seen Bangladesh rising day by day, and that's a good sign, because right now it's the 10th highly populated country in the world. So when that kind of a country is rising, you are taking people out of poverty.
So certainly you're a fan of Sri Lankan cricket.
Of course.
And what are your observations about Bangladeshi cricket team, and who is the favorite player from Bangladeshi cricket team?
Of course, Shakib. And I think Bangladesh is doing very well. And I was thrilled the way they batted against India in the T20, that match, where Linton Das played some fantastic shots. I thought it was bad luck that rain came, otherwise we could have won on that day. Bangladesh cricket have seen a lot of improvement during the last 10 years or so. I'm sure when the next generation come up, when they replace the established players, it will be better. Particularly your fast bowling has seen great potential. I like the way Taskin fighting and bowling. So there is a lot of potential for Bangladeshis to grow from strength to strength.
So as the world is enjoying the greatest show on earth, so who is your favorite team in FIFA World Cup?
Of course, we are all fans of Brazil.
Same here.
Yeah, we own Brazil, and of course, after Brazil, there are so many other countries. But we are very pleasantly surprised and glad to see some of the Asian countries are doing pretty well. Saudi Arabia did well. Japan had done well. So that's good. So probably the next stop, just like the economy in the soccer world, also Asia. So that's good.
That's great. We're almost at the end of our program.
Thank you.
So it has been a pleasure to have you with us. Do you have any comment about the media and culture and the people of Bangladesh?
Yeah, I can see a lot of progress, and I'm sure Bangladeshis will acquire better status in everything else. And I could see, I'm surprised to see the standard what you all are maintaining today, English papers, English news bulletins, and the other languages. So going forward, with a young and growing population, Bangladesh has a tremendous future in all aspects, in culture, sports, exports, economy. So enjoy the ride, that's what I can say. And as neighbors and as friends, we are very happy of the Bangladeshi progress, because a neighbor and a friend doing well is better for all. All the best for your country. And younger generations like you all, take the lead and take the country to the next level.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Viewers, we are at the end of our exclusive interview with His Excellency, Mr. Ali Sabry. It's our heartfelt gratitude to have him with us. Thank you for watching Meet the Envoy.